We have to get through this crisis. That's what I can do. That's the best thing we can do. That's what I think about. Once this virus is gone, I think you're going to have a stock market like nobody's ever seen before.
It's another hideous day on Wall Street. Our market's plunging.
Overall, we are seeing the Nasdaq have the worst day in history, the biggest percentage drop since 1987.
The stock market, I mean, it's just been like gyrating. Like, it could end the week up, but that's been the other big story is, the volatility, and some people are floating the idea, should the market shut down? And like that's one thing Mnuchin and the SEC keeps saying is they don't want to, but it's like a persistent question that keeps coming up.
Is the U.S. economy heading into a recession?
Well, it may be. We're not thinking in terms of recession. We're thinking in terms of the virus. Once we stop, I think there's a tremendous pent-up demand, both in terms of the stock market and in terms of the economy. And once this goes away, once it goes through and we're done with it, I think you're going to see a tremendous surge.
We've put a proposal on the table that would inject $1 trillion into the economy. That is on top of the $300 billion from the IRS deferrals. Now, let me just say, this is a combination of loans. This is a combination of direct checks to individuals. This is a combination of creating liquidity for small businesses.
In some ways, it has become like a little more dire, but in other ways, they're still trying to project this idea that, okay, once this thing is like clear, we're going to see this big economic bounce back, like a V-shaped kind of thing. The experts think, it's so uncertain, the outlook. It's just, it's hard to say that that's going to really be the case.
We're going big. The expression, we could do it two ways. We could keep going back every day or every week. We're going big. And that's where Mitch McConnell, that's the way he wants to go. That's the way I want to go. I think we want to get it done.
The $1 trillion bill that McConnell released, that has like the direct payments to individuals, like the $1,200.
I'm officially introducing the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act.
The checks to individuals, like $1,200 per person, but that's like limited by, your income. So not everybody's going to get it. A big bailout for the airline industry, which could maybe help keep like those workers employed. Like $300 billion in like small business aid, like through loans.
We're looking at sending checks to Americans immediately. And what we've heard from hardworking Americans, many companies have now shut down, whether it's bars or restaurants. Americans need cash now, and the president wants to get cash now. And I mean now, in the next 2 weeks.
With this invisible enemy, we don't want airlines going out of business. We don't want people losing their jobs or not having money to live when they were doing very well just 4 weeks ago. We're moving tax day from April 15th to July 15th, so we're moving it out to July 15th.
You're not getting like a total pass on your taxes, but it's like by giving people a delay, especially people who have to who owe money. I think the argument is it just keeps money in people's hands.
Is a $1,000 check going to cut it? Is that going to be
We're
enough?
not talking about a $1,000 check. We're talking about much more than that. We're also talking about doing phases. If this doesn't work, we're going to keep doing until we get it going.
Next week, the big story is we'll definitely start to see some data on people getting fired. We'll see some data across the country on that. And I think that'll be a really rude awakening for everyone.
The invisible enemy, as I call it, once it's defeated, we get the economy back. It's going to all come back to us very quickly.
This $1 trillion stimulus bill isn't resolved. That could be an ongoing fight. A lot of economists are saying we're going to need to basically double that or more, just given, how uncertain the outcome looks here. So because like I said, you're basically having whole industries being shut down, which is just this is actually going to be a multi-trillion-dollar effort that's needed rather than this one bill. I mean, basically what we have now is a McConnell product, and he has to get, Schumer on board. He has to get Nancy Pelosi on board. He has to get the administration on board. And so I think you could kind of see that package change in pretty, meaningful ways. And then I think you'll probably also still see calls to do more. So, next week, say this bill is passed, you'll see people already talking about what's the next thing Washington can do to rescue the economy.